One of the main features of Shift Care is our really powerful scheduling or rostering platform. I'm going to run through some of the functionality of that platform now, and we're going to start with the filtering methods for the roster. So in the scheduler page, I have the filtering options across the top here, and also some filtering options down the side. So first of all, the clients who are on the professional and premium package have the ability to switch between a staff and client view. What happens here is right now on client, I have my clients down this side and the shifts with the staff members in the calendar view. If I change it across to staff, I have my staff view here and then the clients here. Typically, when you're creating a roster, you will have the clients on this side and then their availability over here. And then if I need to manage cancelled shifts or availability from a staff point of view, I can change this around here. The rostering platform will allow you to drag and drop shifts that are eligible for dragging and dropping. You won't be able to do that with group shifts. They need to be edited through the shift editor. And we also have the ability to sort the roster by either alphabetical or by number of shifts. If you find yourself with hundreds and hundreds of carers and clients and you want to see all of the shifts, all of the relevant carers and clients at the top of the roster, I can order this by shift count, meaning that it will put all of my active staff and clients towards the top. But if I wanted to search for a specific individual, either a staff member or a carer, or if I wanted to search for a particular team, I can go ahead here in the search function and define who I am looking at. So if I wanted to look at my support coordination team, I could have a look at that. And what that will do is it will show me both the staff and the clients who are part of that team. Moving along, I have the ability to filter by shift status, and I'll run through the statuses that we have. So job board is all shifts that have been published to our job board. Pending is all shifts that have some sort of error on them. So you can see I have a couple of shifts here that are red. Those shifts, when I click on them, they will tell me what the issue is and guide me through how to correct them as well. Cancelled shifts, if I have shifts that I have cancelled but I need to keep a record of them, either for the progress notes or to charge the client or pay the staff member. And if I want to see those, just those cancelled shifts, I can filter by those as well. Booked is just our standard normal shift, so it means it's ready to go. And then we've got approved, meaning that the timesheet has been approved for that particular shift. And then invoiced means that the invoice has been generated. Both approved and invoiced shifts, either together or individually, will be locked, meaning that I can no longer edit the time or the price book or the rate for the carer. If you do want to make changes to that shift in that aspect, then you need to void the invoice and unapprove the timesheet, which you can do from this page. You can still add progress notes and incident reports and whatnot to a shift at any stage. So next filter along is types. So in here we have different shift types. So if we look at the roster here, I have personal care, domestic assistance, and if I wanted to filter by these, I can go ahead and look at those different shift types. Shift types are customizable as well. So there are some default shift types that all shift care accounts have, but then I can go ahead and set up custom ones like support coordination or supports in employment, or if I'm managing a bar or a restaurant using the platform, I could have something like that in there as well. And then that way, if you have multiple people using the roster, they can come ahead and they can filter by the shift types that are relevant but for them. And then also the Teams function is very handy for that as well. Across here, if we go to our view, this allows us to view the platform or the roster that's most relevant for us. So compact view and expand view just change the way the roster appears. The really powerful function in here is tabular view. If I click on tabular view, it changes it to a data-driven approach. And what I can do from here is I can see at a glance all of my shifts, and I can look for anomalies, or I can look for things that need my attention. So if we have a look at this shift here on the Tuesday, the 6th of June, I can see that this shift has a 12:45 p.m. start, and that their carer clocked in at 12:45 and a 1:49 finish, and the carer clocked out at 1:49. If I come across here, I can see that the mileage and expenses have been added, and that there's progress notes that have been left there as well. This is really powerful because I can then come up to the filter function, and I can look for shifts that don't have progress notes or don't have a clock in time, and I can manage staff accordingly using this function as well. Jumping back into our regular view, I also have the ability here to change this to either daily, where I can see a breakdown of my shifts for that day by hour, and I can move shifts around based on that. I can look at weekly, and I can also look at fortnightly as well. Or I could switch it to basic, which just gives us this really clean, clear view. And then over here, I have the calendar functions and date functions. So here I'm looking at the last week of May and the 1st of June. If I click this week, it skips forward to the current period that I'm looking at. If it was on daily, I could flick through to today, and then you see the current time highlighted by the blue line. I'll change back to weekly there. I also have the ability to skip forward in shifts in roster, and then skip back as well. If I skip back a couple of weeks, I'll show you what a public holiday looks like. So we have Tuesday, the 25th of April, Anzac Day. These are denoted by a yellow color. So that lets you know that if you're rostering someone on that day, that there's public holiday rates that are going to apply. If I come across here, I have the add shift function, which we'll cover in a later stage. And then the 3 dots over here, that give me the ability to either export my roster. So if I want to give someone a hard copy, or if I want to keep an offline copy. And I also have the ability to manage unavailability. So if I wanted to put in a blockout period for Chris, I could come across here and say, all right, Chris can't work tomorrow and Friday all day. Or if he could only not work in the morning, I could set a period of time as an unavailability. But I'm going to block those out for all day. And then I'm just going to put annual leave as the reason. And then I'm going to save that. And now if we close that down and have a look at our staff view, I can see here that I've got Chris on leave, and it's now made those 2 shifts that he had there red. So if I click on that, I can see that Chris Carter is on leave. I can edit that shift, come down to here, and then I can assign it to someone that's available. Or I can just grab the shift and see that Jose is free, and then I can move that shift down there. As long as the shift turns blue, then we're all in the clear. And then you see here, we now have a green notification button for that shift. Because I've made a change and there's a staff member that's unaware of that change, I have the option to click that button and notify all of the carers. I might not want to do that until I've finished moving all of my different shifts around. And so I've made 3 changes. So I've got 3 notifications there. I click those notifications and away, and the carers are all notified. They're the functionality for filtering the roster. Now over on the left hand side, I just want to show you some of the functionality that you have to be able to jump to certain places within shift care from the roster. So we've got the staff profile here. If I click on a staff profile, I get a quick glance at their profile. And if I click view more, it will take me through to their full profile where I can see all of the information stored against the staff member. It's the same for the client. If I have the client profile view selected and click on the client, I have this, and then I can skip straight through to the client's data. From here, I can also see how many hours that a client or a staff member has been rostered on for a particular period. If I jump back to the staff and I hover over that, I get some more granular information, specifically for things around SHADS award, where I can see whether I'm about to roster someone over hours, or just to make sure that I have fair and evenly distributed hours as well. On each staff member's profile, you can define the total number of daily and weekly hours that they can work, and you'll get warnings pop up when you're about to go over those hours, both here as well as when you go to create a shift and you're going to roster them over those period of time. The little 3 dots here mean that I can go in and skip to all of these shortcuts here. So the details is just the full carers details page. Communications is the audit trail of all the communications we've had with that carer. I can jump straight to their timesheet or just their specific calendar, and then also their documents as well. So lots of shortcuts that make rostering really easy and finding information that you need really quick so that you can be as efficient as possible while doing the rostering. I can come down here, and if I want to add a new carer, I can go straight in to add a new carer from this page. If I add a carer in here, I just need to enter in their name and their email address, and then the level of access that I want to add. So if I'm adding a carer, I leave it as that. They'll be notified via email that they have an account that they need to create a password for, and then they'll be able to download the mobile app and log in and have pretty much instant access. Office user will allow me to create a user that has access to the platform that we're looking at now. So I'll jump back into the scheduler page and show you from the client side. So very, very similar. I have access to all of my shortcuts for the client here. A couple of additions in here. I have add expense. So if I just want to add an expense that a client has incurred to make sure they're invoiced and charged correctly, I can do that there very quickly. And then I also have the ability to jump through to things like billing reports and then also print a client's roster so that they can be handed to them either in soft copy or hard copy as well. So they're the filter features and the shortcut functions within the rostering platform. I hope that has helped. If you do want more detail on everything that we've looked at here, you can jump into the Help Center and search for things like, filter, if it's spelt right. And it will bring up different functionalities within there. Or if you type in scheduler, it will bring up the different help centers and go into much more detail about how you can use the scheduler.